Hello, my name's Logieberra, Canberra, Australia. Just want to do a quick video on my setup here in my backyard. I'm running a very large Astrophysics 1600 GTO equatorial mount. That's the white thing that you can see there, lovely bit of kit. Riding above that is a 12-inch GSO Ritchie-Chrétien mirrored telescope. It's a truss tube assembly, meaning that there are trusses heading out to the secondary mirror, and they're made out of carbon fibre. Very well made. I love this scope. And above that I have a tried and tested 106mm FSQ 106. It's the latest version, EGX3, made specifically for imaging. On the camera side, I'm running an Attic 314L Plus mono. That's a fairly new purchase. I'm enjoying it very much. I borrowed a filter wheel off a mate, but I'll soon be getting a Starlight Express 7-position 1¼ inch filter wheel. And in front of that you can see another tried and tested bit of kit, and that's the Astrodon Monster Moag. For a guider, I'm running the S-Big STI. What I like about this particular guider is that it has a shutter, meaning that darks can be done without the need for closing off the tube assembly and all that stuff. And on the FSQ I have this Canon 6D full frame SLR. Exposures on this, because it's such a fast scope, tend to be quite short, and what I find is that it works very well with this full frame sensor. Because I'm shooting in the suburbs, my exposures can't be too long with this particular telescope, because it pulls in so much light so quickly that I think it works out well with this. Yes, it's not cooled, but it still does a very good job. In terms of focus, I'm running a fairly new item, well, new to me anyway. It's the Optec Focus Lynx system. North Americans might know of this system as the Focuser Boss number 2. It has the ability to control 2 focuses, Focuser 1 and Focuser 2, and it controls a wide range of focuses. I'm actually running it with RoboFocus motors, which have been around for a very, very long time. So I'm enjoying this so far. I actually got a few bells and whistles when I ordered my Optec Focus Lynx from OPC. I got the Wi-Fi unit installed, which I don't use a lot, but it's nice to have all the same. I also got the hand controller, which works very nicely. Perhaps you can see the display there, toggle between FSQ, GSO, ability to sync, and its aversion and all that good stuff. Put that back. At the moment, that humming sound you can hear is actually the fans running on the 12-inch mirrored scope. On this side, on the opposing side of the Focus Lynx, is the Kendrick Digifire 7, only running the one juice strap on the end of the FSQ. But what I'm mainly using it for is these two 12-volt outputs, one running the fan that I mentioned a moment ago, and the other actually driving the 12-volt camera, so that works out quite well. I'm temporarily running this setup on a Astrophysics portable pier. I do have a very large pier that I've previously documented on forums, but the trouble was this particular shed that I now occupy, that wasn't my original shed, and so the concrete block, the concrete base, is not centered in relation to this new bigger shed. That means with this bigger gear, and in particular the fact that I've got a refractor off the end of an already large scope, it has the ability to hit the wall. We don't want that. So for now I'm going to run with this, and I'm happy so far. It's a very rigid portable pier. They've done a wonderful job. Cabling, it could be better. Very briefly, an AGM advanced glass mat, a deep cycle battery, and an lab power supply pumping out around 15-16 volts which the astrophysics motors thrive on. I do recommend some of the higher voltages, particularly in winter and stuff like that. 4 counterweights, mainly because I'm running so much gear, and the fact that my gear is so far off the balance point here. Controlling it all, I've gone with a Mac Mini. You're not getting a good look at it there, go ahead and Google it, but I'm very fond of it. It comes with just the unit, no screen, no mouse, no keyboard, just the brains, USB 3 ports, HDMI, VGA output, and I have this monitor here which I use temporarily. That's just to stop it getting scratched from this cable I made. Yeah, so far so good, and very much enjoy using the Mac Mini. I use Boot Camp for Windows 8. Probably wish I had have gone with an earlier version of Windows for this Astro stuff, but you know, so far so good. There are some cool little shells on the bottom that I don't really make use of. And with astrophysics mounts, this also with G11 type mounts, starting up, not every time, only when I release the clutches, centering everything, the RA and the deck is necessary. What I will say very briefly, I love this mount, having a great time with it. What do I miss about some of the other mounts I've owned? Well, I've owned software bisque mounts. I owned an MX. I love the homing feature of the MX. I love the integration with SkyX. But what I'm finding now is that these work very well with SkyX as well. It takes a bit of setting up, but once you're there, all the bells and whistles of SkyX are possible in controlling an AP mount. In terms of homing, they did talk about releasing a homing limit and a limit kit. It would do 2 things. It would allow the mount to home, and it would actually set electronic limits. I guess those sensors would go somewhere along here. That's yet to be released, so it may be a long way off, just with all the balls that AP has in the air at any given time, and also with APCC having been released this year. I know that's their focus, so something else to look forward to. What I will say is these parts here and here are made for optional encoders that I did not buy at the time of purchase from AP. They cost a lot. They do a wonderful job of eliminating basically all periodic error, but I shoot from the suburbs, and my PE, my corrected PE on this mount, data captured with a nice long focal length of this thing, is around 0.2, 0.3 corrected arc seconds. So shooting in the suburbs, no real need at this time to have 0 PE, because my seeing is worse than the error that's being produced from this lovely bit of kit. In the corner, very briefly, DeLonghi dehumidifier. After a long night of Astro, the roof back on, a lot of moisture on things. I let that run for a while and I empty it from time to time. And you all would have seen this before, just the brains of an AP unit. You will see that I'm using the ST4 guide port. Some of the settings in SkyX, I understand that I can now do without it, which I'll probably end up doing. The fewer cables you can run through these things, the better. Normally there's not, there's a nice cap that would go on there, but because it's such a large cable, I decided to run it there. Look, that's about all I want to say for now about this unit. I'll do further videos in time to come. Hope you enjoy this. I know I always enjoy looking at other people's kit. It certainly helps with purchase. And last thing, just noticed this particular RC that I own is sold here in Australia through the company Bintel. Lovely guys and girls to deal with. They'll look after you, but you may see other variations of the very same scope under names like Astrotech, maybe even some fairly unique names coming out of Europe and other places. End of the day, made by GSO, Guansheng Optics in Taiwan. All the same, good kit, tremendous value for money, can't go wrong. But do upgrade the focuser in time. Plan on doing that, but for now, it's good enough. Alright, that'll do.